couldn't reach the outlet, but it's right there, you know?
Oh, dude, that's all we need. It's all we need right there.
Yeah.
And it's funny, man, because the thing I like about, obviously, we're friends and I'm a big fan of your stuff. But one thing I love about your latest single right now called Turn Up All the Christmas Songs, I think I touched on it last week on the show, was
Yeah.
the fact that it's kind of about hating Christmas songs. And the people that I've played it for, like off the air, have said, I normally don't like Christmas songs, but I like this one. Thus, they like a Christmas song. Was that the plan?
Yeah, it's a little meta for sure, but it was one of those where like, man, I really need a Christmas song, but I hate Christmas music. What am I going to do? And so we're like, let's just be real. Let's tell it how it is. I'm like, doesn't All I Want for Christmas make you want to gouge your eyeballs out by the time you hear it for the 50th time? You're at the mall and you're just like, I don't know what's driving me crazy. You're like, oh, that's what it is. That's what it is.
That's what it is. No, it's so true, man. And I gotta also point out, you kind of did the music thing, at least for your solo project, kind of backwards in a way. I was having a conversation. Your day-to-day manager, Emily, is that her name?
Yeah, Emily.
So Emily and I were speaking at the end. You guys played the end for the Loser Tour with Bryce Fox, which was an amazing show. And we talked about how you kind of built this whole thing online before you ever played a show. And so she pointed out you were kind of nervous to take it to the stage when most bands kind of do it the opposite way. So how was it being on tour? First of all, the Loser Tour, amazing. How was it being out there playing for people?
Man, it was awesome. I feel like it was I've been an internet boy for the last 7 years or whatever. And so I've been putting out this music and people have literally streamed it like crazy and changed my entire life. But I've really never met any of them, any of the fans, any of the people who really enjoy the music. And so it was crazy, like to play the show, see people singing all the words, meet them at the merch table and them tell me these incredible stories, like whether it's like a tear-filled story where they're hugging me and like, oh my gosh, your music saved my life. Or if it's like, oh my gosh, this funny thing happened and it brought me and my husband together and now we're together and we're married and it's because of your song, da da da. And it's just like stuff like that. I didn't realize how much I missed that kind of thing. I had done that when I was younger, but like as I started to do this thing, I really was just on the internet talking to people through Instagram, and it's not the same as being in person. It was really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And I was also point out you covered Wheatus's Teenage Dirtbag, which I thought was amazing at the end. And I wanted to ask you, was that intentional because that was from the movie Loser, starring Jason Biggs in the summer of 2000?
Oh my gosh, you're so right. I didn't even think about that. No, that is going one step deeper. Yes, no, that was my idea. Yes, I'm that brilliant.
Well, it's funny because I was sitting there and when you started playing it, it's the first thing I thought. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm the oldest person here. I'm probably the only person who would even get that reference. So I'll go and just give you that one. You can have it.
That's so funny. No, honestly, it was one of those things where I'm like, this is definitely on topic, like Teenage Dirtbag, like Loser. I'm like, this is right on. So,
Yeah. Dude, I actually I saw them on that tour in the summer of 2000. I'm going to totally date myself, but in the summer of 2000, I saw it was SR-71, Harvey Danger, and we just opened up. And this was like when that song was blowing up, right?
Yeah.
And so they had all these kids come on the stage during Dirtbag and sing along. And I was like too nervous. I can't get up there. And so fast forward to 2006, a band I was in toured with them. And they had completely fallen off the map, and we were playing to like nobody. It was like the most depressing thing. Like, I was like, how did everybody forget about Wheatus? This song is great. And so seeing the resurgence they've had, because I've had Brendan on my show a few times, a singer, and I guess One Direction covered the song. That kind of helped.
Oh,
and then TikTok kind of brought it back, I guess. People
oh my gosh, yeah. I think TikTok, especially that trend of like you doing like when you're like an emo kid, like or like a rock kid. That was pretty funny. I really enjoyed going back and finding all these ridiculous pictures of me with like the puka shell necklace and like the Jesus is my homeboy shirt and the spiky hair and the tiny little like goatee,
Oh yeah.
The goatees were super cool. It was like me and Sugar Ray and freaking Fred Durst and so like
patch, man, the soul patch.
Yeah, back then it was cool, but like looking back there now, I was like, oh dang, I gotta hide these pictures. But but yeah, honestly, it's funny. It's like I posted something when they did something with Dashboard Confessional, and I responded. I was like, "This is awesome!" And then they started following me, and so of course my internet boyness, I couldn't help. I like DM'd them. I was like, "I love you guys. Please let me play a show with you." It's just like scene crickets.
Oh really? That's amazing. I love it. We got to make sure we set up a Wheatus and Sam Tinnesz collab. I would definitely.
I know. Come on. I would live for that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. That'd be incredible. We're talking to Sam Tinnesz on the Local Buzz. Not to bring it down, but it is worth mentioning. Last week, Christine McVie of Fleetwood Mac passed away, and
Yeah.
I've always felt like I've referenced this so many times on the show, which is why I'm bringing it up. But I always bring it up for controversial opinions or unpopular opinions, I should say.
Yeah.
I've always said I prefer '80s Fleetwood Mac over '70s Fleetwood Mac, which were a lot of the songs that Christine McVie sang.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you, were you more of a Stevie Nicks guy or a Christine guy?
Man, it's one of those things where they both had a really cool and distinct voice. But I feel like Stevie Nicks, I kind of lean towards that just because some of those songs I liked a little bit better, but I get why you would go the other way. I mean, every freaking song is amazing. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that band was just legendary. They don't make them like they used to, for sure.
They really don't. Did you ever see them live?
No, I didn't.
Oh man, see, I
Did
saw them
you?
once. I saw them at the Bridgestone Arena in 2015 when they still had Lindsay, the whole band, right?
Oh,
And
man.
I went in the Buzz Suite, so it was a great show, kind of
Yeah.
on the side. But the only downside to my Fleetwood Mac experience was where I was seated. I could kind of see behind the stage, and I
Oh,
hate that they have this, but on the floor, totally not lit up, a young drummer just getting it, hidden from the crowd. And like they were doing that, and I was like, "Oh, McFleetwood, come on, man! These songs are not that hard." But they had a young guy down there keeping it solid, so he could kind of just play through it.
oh
But
my gosh, that's so funny.
it's such an arena rock level thing. Imagine if we pulled that
Yeah.
at the end with Sam Tinnesz, like
Oh my
just have
gosh, yeah.
some
People
guy
would
on
be
the
like,
floor.
I saw a guy backstage playing the guitar parts, and they'd be like, no, he's a fake. Cancel him.
Everyone can totally see him. Like, who's that guy?
I feel like though when you're like older and you're a rocker, like it's just like, oh man, whatever it takes to get them back up there. Like
Oh yeah,
I think Mick Mars just dropped out of Motley Crue, right? Like he stopped
I
playing
saw that.
live. That bummed me out, but I understood. I mean, dude was half dead up there on stage. I'm like, I honestly can't believe he made it that long. So it's wild.
Especially when you don't need the money, especially whenever you're
No.
kind of just set for life, you're a legend, you're in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Like, why even go out and do it at that point? It's hard enough to get me to go on tour, and I'm not at any of those things. So it's a little, I don't know why you would even keep trying.
For real, for real. I just would sit back in my mansion in the Hollywood Hills and, drinking my magic elixir to keep me young,
Yeah, right. Just drinking those children's tears.
Dude, for real, he lived the, what do they call it? Adrenochrome or something? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Whatever keeps people young, man. I'm telling you. It is officially the holiday season. I know you don't like Christmas songs, Sam Tinnesz, but is there a Christmas movie that you do like?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. There's tons of Christmas movies. I love Christmas Vacation. We watch that every single year. And every year I can't get the Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like the whole thing, like watching it, you're just like, this would not fly right now, like at all. Like stealing a person from their house and tying them up is like
Totally.
a dude with his big bulge, like like he's got this crazy bulge happening, and
You would never.
I mean all sorts of stuff. Where they're like Merry Christmas, or what was it, like Merry Christmas, kiss his ass, kiss my ass, like
His boss is walking out.
yes, the boss is walking out, like that movie just has so many lines that over the year we just constantly repeat. They're like or she's like, did I break wind? And he's like, no, did you see the room clear out?
It's so true. It definitely is a classic.
It
Speaking
is.
of classics, I had a conversation on Thanksgiving with my nephew who just turned 7, and he went to New York for the first time. So of course I made the reference, and I was like, how was New York, Kevin McAllister? And he doesn't like Home Alone. He literally said to me,
What?
I like Home Alone. And I was like, first of all, who are you and why not? And he told me that it's about a kid who stays at home alone, and these robbers try to break into his house. And so I looked at my nephew and I was like, well, doesn't he stop the robbers? And he literally goes, I mean, I guess. And then he walked away. Doesn't like Home Alone. It's not a Herrin. Definitely not a Herrin.
What? Dang. Would he
mean, I
consider
guess.
Gen Z? Is he considered Gen Z?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Man, there's a lot I don't understand about Gen Z, especially the humor of Gen Z, but the not liking Home Alone will definitely get added to the list because I'm like, Home Alone is hilarious.
Yeah, he's not allowed to come to the holidays anymore till he grows up and starts acting right.
That's right. For real. No, sir.
Uncle with a stone fist, Andy is back, and he's here to make you right.
Drink this eggnog right now, young man.
You drink it. I don't care if it smells like whiskey. You just drink it. I know you're 7. Well, in honor of Sam being here for a very Sam Tinnesz Christmas, we got to play the 5 random question game Christmas
Okay,
edition. If you're down, my friend, shall we play?
I'm down. Let's do this.
All right. Question number 1 with Sam Tinnesz on the local buzz. So, what is the worst Christmas song in your opinion? Since you don't like any of them, what's the worst?
Man, honestly, I even left this out of my post the other day, but Christmas shoes. I want to buy these shoes for my mama. It's like,
Terrible.
kill me. That is like the
So
worst song of all time, probably. Not even just Christmas songs, just of all time.
Oh, dude. I worked at a record store when that came out. And I remember every single 85-year-old lady would come in. Do you have the song about the shoes? Every
Oh
time.
my.
They loved it.
It
They
pulls at
loved it.
all their heartstrings. Yeah, it makes all their grandma like heartstrings just tie up, but whatever.
Question number 2 is Sam Tinnesz on the local buzz. So I got to ask, Home Alone 1
Yeah.
or Home Alone 2?
Oh man, it's so hard because I think that Home Alone 1 when he's at home, second one's when he's in New York, right?
Yeah.
I probably would say New York because like the scenery and like the going through the crazy, like the ice skating rink and all that stuff. That
Yeah.
was hilarious. And then him like being in the toy store after hours.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was like, I would die to be in a toy store after hours.
Oh, dude, that was the dream. That was the dream. But that was actually a trick question. The correct answer was Home Alone 3, the 1997 starring that weird kid from Step by Step. Close. So close. Question number 3 was Sam Tinnesz on the local bus. So, what is a Christmas gift you never got but you always wanted?
Oh gosh, have you ever seen one of those like those giant monitor lizards that you feed meat to? You know what I'm talking about, like steaks and all that and they can eat they could probably like eat a little Yorkie dog if it wanted to. I always wanted one of those because they were like really similar to dinosaurs. You know what I mean? And I'm like, if I want a dinosaur, but they don't exist anymore, this monitor lizard is probably the closest thing I'm going to get. But yeah, even the small ones my parents were having, so I never got one.
Oh man, I know what to send you. And I'm gonna send it in a box coming from the buzz, my friend.
Oh my gosh.
Question number 4 was Sam Tinnesz on the local buzz. Are you the type of guy who Christmas shops early or do you wait until the week of Christmas?
I am like the last minute. I don't know what's wrong with me. Every year I'm like, I'm gonna go on Amazon or I'm gonna go to Target or wherever and I'm gonna buy something before the holiday, but it never happens. I'm always the week before and I'm like, everything's out. I have nothing to give.
I'm the exact same way. I always go to the mall like on the 23rd, hoping to like recreate Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jingle All the Way, but it's never fun. I'm always mad. I usually go to the food court and leave right after.
No, for real. Yeah, I usually go to the food court. I get a milkshake and I drink my sorrows because I got nobody anything cool because they're all gone.
Like everyone's getting cash this year, even the kids.
Yeah, you get 100. You get 100. You get 100.
Question number 5, the final question was Sam Tinnesz on the local buzz. So it seems like there's a trend in music. I'm sure you've noticed this since you don't like Christmas songs. When someone's artist, like an artist's career is kind of in the toilet, they put out a Christmas record and it's the hope to relaunch them. So I wanted to ask you, let's just say your manager comes to you and he's like, Sam, things aren't good, man. Things are not good for 2023.
Yeah.
We need you to do a Christmas record or you need to retire. Do you do a Christmas record or do you retire?
I retire. I would rather bow out respectfully than make something horrible. Because I know if I did a Christmas record, it would be so awful. Like I can't even imagine. Some of my least favorite records from some of my favorite artists are Christmas records. Though I will say there's a couple exceptions. Like the Sia record is pretty cool. You know,
I never heard hers.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. And there's some pretty cool songs. I mean, she's a hit songwriter, so it makes sense. But the rest of them, I'm like, why did you do this to yourself? I'm really glad like Coldplay never did a Christmas record or like, or even any of like my favorite rock bands. I'm like, they never really like, it's not like you're going to see Korn do a Christmas record.
Oh, dude, could you imagine? Can you imagine that?
Jingle bells, jingle.
Maybe they should do one. That might be kind of cool, actually. That's kind of wild.
Dang, I think I just convinced them. Man, I'll send this to Brian and we'll see what he thinks.
Oh, dude, he's gonna love it. He's gonna love it. Well, I love that you're willing to go out with dignity instead of doing a Christmas record. Very well done.
Yes.
Well, Sam, what's the rest of 2022 looking like? What's 2023 looking like before you go? Are you thinking about hitting the road again, more songs? What's next year looking like, looking through the glass of next year?
Man, I'm hoping to go over to the UK to do some shows and maybe a little bit more of like a European type thing. And then Man, I'm just writing a ton of music. We put out the record in February. So we'll have a big music video and a really cool song that is probably my favorite from the whole record, a song called Prozac Perfect. And so that one will come out on that date. And with the rest of the record. And yeah, we're just gonna be pushing that thing like crazy. And I'm trying to, I mean, honestly, there's some really cool collabs that are coming. You know me. I'm always trying to get some sort of collab going. So
Yeah,
I've got
dude.
a really, really fun, crazy one that I'm like, how did this even happen? So we'll see.
I love that. I can't wait to hear you. Send it my way once it's done, my friend. I'll gladly play that stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right on, man. With Sam Tinnesz, always an honor. Go check out Turn Off All the Christmas Songs right now. Everywhere you can stream music, everywhere you can buy music.
Let's
Obviously, no stranger to the
go.
show. Anytime you want to come up here, man, just knock on my glass door or my Zoom camera, and I'll let you right in, my friend.
Okay. Thank you, Andy. Cheers,
Yeah,
bro.
Steve.